All right, to make an animated GIF that you can use in your PowerPoint presentation or anywhere else, come up here in Photoshop to File, come down to Scripts, and then you want to load your MR images into this file stack. It's going to give you this context menu. You're going to click Browse, and you're going to navigate to the folder where you have the images, and we're going to figure out which images we want here. So maybe I'll start here at the top of near the top of the retinacular tear, and maybe come down here to the bottom of the kissing contusion along the lateral femoral condyle. We'll click OK. And see, these are the images that I'm going to load into layers in Photoshop. And so it's going to take a second here and process that request. And you can see it populating the images down here in the bottom right into the layer menu. And so we'll just give that a second to run. All right, that looks good. So now let me just close this so we can see our layers. So we've got all of our layers here. So the timeline I have showing up here, you have to come up here to Window, and you have to come down here to Timeline to get that to show up. Okay, so let me just collapse this menu. All right, so now that we've got that menu up, we'll click Create a Frame Animation. We're going to come down here to the menu, and we're going to say Make Frames from Layers. Okay, and right now you can see that the animation here is going from the condyles superiorly, and I want that to be reversed. Okay, so I'm going to click this menu again, and then I'm going to look for Reverse Frames. All right, and now it's going to be going scrolling from proximal to distal, which is what I want. And you can see these are all 0 seconds. So if I play the animation, it's going to go through too fast. And so I'm just going to select all of these different frames, and I'm going to set these to maybe 0.2 seconds per frame. So it's scrolling through at a reasonable rate here. And then what I like to do is when I want to put an arrow on key findings. So right up here at the top of the patellar retinacular injury, I want to put an arrow. So I'm going to add this arrow in here, and I'm coming over to my shape menu, go up to navigate to the arrow shape, I'm going to drag this out here, and I want to change the color of this. I'm going to make this orange. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing here. There we go. Oh, we're in the wrong mode here. Need to change it to color. Don't merge. All right, so now I can change this to orange. And I'm going to move this shape here to point at the injury. Okay, so let me bring this over. And you'll see that it propagated that across all these other frames. But if I click on these frames, I can turn the arrow off on the frames I want it off on. So I'm going to leave it on for now, and we'll just see how it tracks with the medial retinacular injury here. And I suppose I can move the arrow. And you can actually move this. I'm using my arrow keys to move it over here. And it won't move it for the other layers. So if you click back to these other layers, it'll be back where you wanted it to be. Okay, so now on this layer and those thereafter, I'm going to turn that arrow off. Okay, so I just selected all those layers by holding Shift and clicked off the arrow. And now I want to figure out where my kissing contusions along the medial patella and lateral femoral condyle are. So I'm going to come back up here, and I'm going to add another arrow. And I think we probably see that best here. It's a PDFS, so it doesn't really show up maybe as well as it should. And you know what else? I want to crop this down because we don't want this whole image to be there, because it's going to take up too much space in our presentation. So I'm just going to bring this down here. I'm going to crop that out. And now I need to add another arrow. So I'm going to duplicate this arrow. So I'm going to select the layer. I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to double click on this layer, and I'm going to change this. Come over here and change this to a blue color. All right. And so now I'm going to take this arrow and I'm going to put it like this, pointing at this area of edema. Let's move that over a little bit. And I don't want it on these first two layers, so I'm going to go like this and I'll turn it off. All right, now I'm going to click on these frames. Okay, and we'll track this down here. Oops, I'm going to have to move it for every frame. Now I should have put it there in the correct place initially. All right, so let's bring this over here. All right. Actually, we don't really see it much there, but we're starting to get into the contusion on the lateral condyle where it contacted. So now let's just bring this over here. These subsequent layers. Oops, dang it. All right, and here we're seeing it much better. All right, and then maybe we'll just, yeah, Yeah, maybe we'll turn it off for that last layer. Okay, so let's play this animation and see how it looks. Well, we have one that's a little bit wonky. One of the arrow jumps, it jumps on this slide here. Let's pull that up a little bit. Okay, well, let's see how it looks now. All right, I think that looks pretty good. I'd like the arrows to be a little bit more stable, but I think that's good enough for now. So now we need to export. So I'm going to go File, Export, and we're going to go for Save for Web Legacy. And that's going to allow us to save this as an animated GIF. All right, so I've got it set up here to my GIF settings. It's going to loop forever, which is what I want. And you know what, actually, I just realized I think I want to slow that down a little bit. Maybe that was a little bit fast. Let's watch this through. Maybe it's a little bit fast. Okay, so let's just slow this down just a little bit more. Let's just do 0.3 seconds. All right, can do the same type of thing here. All right, so I'm going to hold Control-Alt-Shift-S as the keyboard shortcut for that. All right, and so now we're going to save that as a GIF, and we are all set. Actually, maybe I should just show you me putting it in here. So I had done this single image here with all of this, and I think that one image just wasn't quite enough to capture it, which is why I made the animation. So let me go grab that. All right, so I just paused the video here. I had to go up to insert picture. Let me just drag it on here. All right, so now I'm going to have this appear right here. Let me just adjust the size here a little bit. All right, and we're going to have that fade in last. So I'm going to come up here to animations. We'll have that fade in, and we'll leave our caption here. So I'm going to paste this over here on the image. Okay, that looks good. We're going to group these two things. That's going to get rid of that animation, so I'll just have to add it in here again at the bottom. All right, so now let's watch our presentation here. Okay, so we can go through and read it, and then once we start clicking, it'll play the animations here for the different measurements and how to do those. And then the last click here, oops, that was I have to delete that one. It's going to show us our animated GIF. Okay, so let's get rid of this guy, which we don't need anymore. All right, let's try again. All right. And so that will be the last thing before it advances to the next slide.